everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Jeannie Ellis, also known as Scrapbooking Mamo. And today I want to share with you day 8 of the 12 days of Christmas. I am going to attempt to make a wall plaque art using some pieces of wood that I got from Hobby Lobby. And they are rough. They're not like where you can't rub on it and you'll get a splinter because they're pretty well sanded down. They just have a rough looking texture to them. So I am just going to mess around with them and see what I can do with them and make a wall plaque out of them. Now this one I think needs to be turned around because of the smoothness. It's smoother there. But what I'm going to do first is I am going to go ahead and glue each piece together, and I do have Gorilla Glue in my glue gun, but because of the type of material it is, let me see, I am going to use this Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And the reason being is because a hot glue will tend to make the surface, it will tend to dry faster. And I might have gotten too much on there. This is a new bottle. So I'm going to smooth it out with my finger. Probably a bad idea, huh? But I'm just simply going to smooth it out. Trying to get all the glue off the front side because this is going to be my front. And work with that as much as possible. And I am taking that piece and I'm going to attach it to the next piece. I love glue. Okay, now because it's going to take a little bit to dry, this is where I'm going to use my hot glue gun. Just little pieces, bits of it here and there, just so that it will stay attached while it's drying. I want to make that as even as possible. It's going to be a pretty rustic piece, so it's not like it's going to be perfect anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the other two pieces, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I've glued them all together, and I didn't use just the Beacon 3-in-1, I used hot glue in between too, so that way it'll get a fast grab hold, and the Beacon will dry in there and give it further hold. But this way I can work on it faster. So, patience was not one of my virtues when it comes to crafting. So, my next step is going to be I'm going to put a white wash on top of this, if I can. There we go. Hopefully I've got enough paint, white paint. I forgot to buy some. Anyway, we're going to try and see what we got here. I just want it to be a whitewash. I don't want it to be a real white. So I'm just kind of painting it along. I'm getting that whitewash now. And it doesn't have to be an even coating because it is going to be a piece that's rustic looking, I hope. So, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I have things in my mind that I'm going to do, and it comes out totally different than what I planned. Now, the reason I did not put like a gesso or something like that on that, because I want this to be rustic. I don't want it to be something that, it's all prepared and it looks perfect, and it won't be perfect for sure, but I just want it to be more rustic looking. That's why I didn't do anything else to prepare it. So I'm just giving it a whitewash. It's all I'm doing. If it soaks in and I need to add a little more to it, then that's fine. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I can with it. And get more paint. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of brown into the cracks there, to the pieces that was molded together or glued together. Well, let's see how this comes out. Let's just take some of it. Doesn't have to be perfect, because it's not meant to be perfect really, so I'm just adding into the cracks there. And it's very moist too. It's not, it's like the whitewash. I've got it pretty runny because I want it to kind of blend in there. If you see it, it's kind of doing a blending job here now. And that's what I want. And each piece is going to be a little bit different than the other, but that's okay. Okay, I believe that I have got it to the point that I want it as far as coloring goes. Painting, whitewashing, brown washing, whatever you want to call it. I've got that point there done. So what I've got to do now is that I've got to let it dry, because it's a pretty wet piece of wood right now. And if I pick it up, it could just fall apart, and we don't want that. So once it's dried, I will be back and we'll continue on with the project. Okay, what I'm doing here is spreading a Mod Podge sealer on top of the plaque now and on the sides. All I did was pour some over the top of it, and I just poured enough that I thought would make sure to cover all the cracks and crevices, because it is a pretty rough texture to it. And so I wanted to make sure all those got sealed in. Now, I did put way too much on there, so I had to clean some of them off. So, you know, anyway, I just wanted to make sure it got covered. And also, a tip is that you make sure that you use a nice clean brush, and preferably one that you haven't used at all. So I'll be back. I'll finish this part up, and I'll be back and show you the next step of this video. Now it's time for the next step. I have these words already glued down. The word peace and the joy are already glued down. Believe is not glued down yet, because I wanted to share with you how to do it. The words peace, joy, and believe all came from Dollar Tree, and the letters J-O-Y came from Hobby Lobby. I got them on sale for, you know, half price. I layered the joy on first, and I measured out, made sure, not really measured out, eyeballed the sides so that way they would be even. And then I put peace down to measure the margins up there to make them even with the word joy. And then I glued them all down with the Beacon 3-in-1 glue and hot glue. And I laid that tray, my little utility tray there, on top of the word peace, just to help it hold down better, to adhere better. And then I wanted to go ahead and take the believe and go ahead and glue it down. I just used the 3-in-1 Beacon 3-in-1 glue, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the center of those bigger areas for sure, probably throughout the whole back. But I want to make sure that I get it as much in the center of the glue down as possible. Now the word joy, they had tabs, the letters had tabs on the back of it for hanging. And I not only added the Beacon 3-in-1 glue, I added the hot glue on top under that. The Beacon 3-in-1 was also glued on the back edges of the letters. I glued it all the way around the edge just to make sure that it would stay down good. When I put that Beacon 3-in-1, it kind of dribbled on the inside, which was okay because I didn't want to dribble on the top or on the outside. So when I added the hot glue on and the Beacon 3-in-1, I pressed down where you saw where I was putting my finger. I pressed it down to make sure that that hot glue would catch, would hold. And then I kind of cleaned out the sides and the edges there, just so that way I know that it's clean. And, you know, you just want to make sure you don't overdo the glue and it ooze out. You know, so, you know, that's just something that you got to be careful with. And now, there I'm just explaining to you what I did on something. I took an old foam brush and I put that Mod Podge I told you about earlier on it, and it left some few sprinkles of black on it. So I had to clean that off. You know, that was not fun. So be careful. Use a new brush or make sure it's very clean. Now, it's time to add that 3-in-1 glue. One of my favorite glues is the Beacon 3-in-1. And I'm just taking it and I'm going to spread it on all over the back of that. You know, as much as possible. I'm going to try to get it on all the back of the letters. And you may be able to tell that I'm putting the glue on the thicker parts of the letters, you know, in the center of those pieces, those areas, because I thought that way it wouldn't take a chance of oozing out. But then I discovered when I went to the E on the end there, the little tail of the E, I needed to put glue there, otherwise it would stick up or it would get a chance of getting pulled on. So I just kind of went back over and I added more glue to some areas, and I had added glue to the tail of the B up there, and I just kept adding a little bit of glue where I felt like it needed it. So then I got my Gorilla Hot Glue. And there I'm just showing you where I put all the glue. But I got my Gorilla Hot Glue out, and I wanted to go ahead and add to the areas of the word there. And you see that I'm just kind of tapping some of the glue on there. It's not a whole lot. It's just a little bit here and there. Just enough, again, to get that hot glue to hold to the board. Otherwise, you know, I would have to place a lot of stuff on top of it, or heavy stuff, to keep that glue down to adhere to the plaque. You know, but if I use a hot glue, that kind of helps me get it to adhere faster and help that other glue to dry and get a good hold. And I'm stuttering there because I've done this like twice already, you know, talking. For some reason, my video voice, when I was doing it, recording on it, just messed up. I don't know what happened. But so I'm trying to remember as I go, so forgive me for that. But anyway, you can see there, I'm just pressing it all down there. And I did have to add some more glue to different areas. As you can see there, hey, I got it right in time then. I just added some glue to parts that looked like they needed some more glue added to them, because I wanted to make sure that it stuck down. So there I'm taking it from the word peace here and adding that tray on top of the believe. And I don't know why I put that glue there. I thought it was going to be heavier than that, but it's not, because it's almost out. So I don't know why I did that. So, you know, there you have that step. And the next step is just adding a little bit to it. So I wasn't sure, but I was just going to leave it like that, but I felt like it needed something, and a friend of mine gave me an idea. And so there you see I'm pointing to where I think that I'm going to do that idea. And she confirmed it for me, and she made a suggestion, and I thought I'll look in and see what I got. And lo and behold, there it was. So the next step is going to be decorating my plaque. So you see there that I have some sprigs added there that I bought from Dollar Tree also. And I thought it would, you know, look pretty to put that greenery in there, but it lacked a little bit. So I just went ahead and put berries in the middle there, added 2 sprigs to the letters J and Y, And I thought that was just all it needed, you know, because if you put too much on there, it's going to take away from the simplicity and the rustic look of this. Stay tuned for some pictures. Bye for now, and thank you for watching.